Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, here to do a quickies video talking about a bunch of tracks and albums that I haven't discussed lately that I've been meaning to talk about, but want to touch down on in this video. Let's begin. A lot of people have been asking me about the new Daft Punk single now that the official radio edit of the song is out, featuring Nigel as well as Pharrell singing. And honestly, I have to say that the song has a pretty good groove, very strong disco vibes on this track. I especially like the hook with the robot voices. It definitely feels like, Daft Punk 10 years or so ago all over again. However, as far as the progression of the song goes, at least on this radio edit of the song, it feels kind of monotonous, a little tedious. And while Pharrell does feel like a capable singer on the song, I have to say it's not like he's flashy enough or has large enough of a range for me to be that interested in him singing for the length of an entire track. It's a decent tune, doesn't exactly have me disappointed or anything like that. I'm just hoping that there are better tracks to come on this new Daft Punk LP. The one and only Janelle Monáe has also dropped a new song titled Q.U.E.E.N, featuring Erykah Badu. She has vocals all over this track. It's incredibly funky, a little cheesy, has an old school 80s pop and R&B vibe to it, a little bit of Prince coming through on this track, and a really strong, heady rap verse on the tail end. It's an interesting listen. MGMT also has a new song out titled Alien Days, and it would seem from the likes of this song that they're going into even more strange, out there psychedelic rock and pop territory with this new song. I actually even read an article saying that they don't expect some of the fans of their older pop singles to come back around on this new album. It's sad to see that the band is losing fans because people didn't jump on board with the more psychedelic sounds on their last full-length LP, but this song I actually found to be pretty weird and stimulating and just sort of obtuse, but also very sweet and psychedelic as well. I'm liking the track and I'm really interested in seeing where the band goes next. Disclosure has a new single out featuring vocals from Eliza Doolittle. It is a funky UK house banger and has a really old school 90s vibe to it that I'm liking a lot. And also, make sure to stream this new full-length LP from Netherlands hardcore punk band This Routine Is Hell. The album is Howl. It's been produced by Kurt of all people and has a lot of hard-ass guitars, a lot of raw energy, and just passion, punk passion. Pusha T, Numbers on the Boards. A really interesting track, whether you like it or not, from Pusha. Dude comes through with a lot of charismatic bars, not exactly the tightest flow or the most impressive flow on the block, but man, was it a risk for Pusha to rap over the production on this track, which is incredibly clunky, noisy, and weird, and has a very generous Jay-Z sample on the track. It is a weird-ass beat. And finally, UK female post-punk outfit Savages has a new song out titled Shut Up from their new full-length LP Silence Yourself. I love this song. It's so good. It's so freaking good. Oh my god. All right, let's get into albums. Das Tor is the latest full-length album from this Swedish black metal project. And this is an album that I could easily see people getting enthralled with if you are a huge fan of that old school lo-fi grimy black metal sound. But it's not truly lo-fi or abrasive or anything like that. There is somewhat of a balance in all of the fuzz and compression that is on the songs, the very long songs, monolithic songs on this album. The tracks on this LP are rich with frosty distortion, wretched vocals, pounding drums that are just sort of floating in all of the distortion, all of the haze. Repetition, extreme repetition, is used throughout these songs. Like I said, really long tracks, sometimes breaching the 20-minute mark, to create something really hypnotic and kind of ambient. I don't find the songs on this album to be that musically engaging. However, they're not really supposed to be in a traditional sense. Like I said, they go for more of an ambient vibe. This isn't something I would typically find myself in the mood for, but if you are in this mood, I do think this album is going to hit you hard. TMHD, the music producer who pretty much spearheads this project, is also the mastermind behind the Senor Coconut project, which, if you check them out, has a lot of fantastically Latin music infused Kraftwerk. covers. And anyway, this guy is like just a one-man Kraftwerk in himself. And I just like this guy's really digital robotic aesthetic. He definitely takes that old school Kraftwerk vibe and brings it into a modern setting, really sort of sucking the humanity that has evolved into the world of electronic music. Adam TM definitely captures those vibes in some really interesting ways and has kind of a few strange standouts on this album, like a track with Jamie Lydell, which is a little corny but fun, and an odd cover of The Who's My Generation. Adam TM can produce. There's no question there. I mean, some of the sounds on this album are really great. And there's aesthetic here too, and some of the more abstract tracks on here are pretty interesting as well. It's just that there are some moments where I find this LP just a little too cheesy to handle. The new Marnie Stern LP, Chronicles of Marnia. This is the latest full-length album from eccentric indie rock guitar heroine. And her earlier stuff had a lot of elements of math rock and noise pop flowing through it, and definitely these characteristics are on this new LP as well. But I have to say Marnie Stern is a lot more easygoing on this album, but still, even easygoing Marnie Stern rocks pretty freaking hard. If there's anything I didn't really care for on this LP though, even though I do like Marnie's energy and sometimes her songwriting can be really sharp, it's that I don't really feel like the production translates on this album too well. The guitars feel really sort of sharp, brittle, kind of bodiless on a lot of these tracks. The bass lines don't feel that strong, and the drums just are really razor thin at some points. And on top of it, Marnie's vocals, which are at sometimes multi-tracked and singing in these really strange ear-piercing pitches. Even though Marnie does have some really adventurous ideas when it comes to songwriting and guitar playing, this very flat production makes all the songs on the album feel sort of homogeneous. Definitely get into Laura's debut full-length LP if you're looking for something that is a bit of a pop soul, neo soul blend that is a little eccentric. There's definitely enough color on this album that will hook in fans of, let's say, Kimbra or maybe even Leanne La Havas. There are spots on this album where Laura will be singing ballads that just feel very refined and string-kissed. Other moments, very high energy multi-track vocals on the song, textured rhythms and beats, sort of odd but still very sharp and straightforward with its melody. If there's anything that doesn't really appeal to me all that much on this album, it's that Laura isn't exactly the best lyricist in my opinion. But outside of that, as far as neo soul goes, I do think this album has a lot of appeal. And the new Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats LP, Mind Control. This is the latest full-length album from the UK-based rock outfit that is extremely, extremely nostalgic in nature, referencing back to the old world of doom metal, as well as stoner rock, heavy psych as well. And while there are some other bands out there that do play with these genres, but do it in a very modern way, Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats are content to go for this production sound that makes the songs they're playing feel like they were produced in that time period. Very fuzzy, very sort of condensed. The vocals very buried underneath the guitars. The recording, the production, it's very, very noisy. And that's fine. I do think people who are into this genre will like the sound that the band has to offer. Me personally, I don't really like how obscured the tunes are by all this fuzz. And at times, the way that the band plays out these riffs, and the drumming too, it feels very, very sort of stiff and not that alive. I do realize that there is a lot of older doom metal music that does have this feel to it because of the space that the band wanted to leave in between its riffs, but I wouldn't exactly say Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats are stretching their riffs out to the point where they should feel like they're this lifeless. It's not a bad album by any means. I would just say overall it's more for the nostalgia seeker than anything. Alright, and that's it. Those are my takes on those releases and songs. Thank you for watching. Anthony Fantano, Quickies, forever.